question that traders usually ask themselves is, should I hold my winning trades longer or should I size up? So today I'm going to show you guys why one isn't really better than the other. It really depends on the person pulling the trigger, right? There's no definitive answer as to, hey, should I size up or should I hold my trades longer? Because every single trader has a different strategy and different approach. So I'll break down what might be better for you while also showing what I usually do. So the truth is, both of these strategies can work very well. It just depends on the person pulling the trigger and what part of your trading journey are you in? Are you just starting out, or are you actually 5-6 years into trading? So if you're just starting out, sizing up isn't really going to make sense because this is just the start of your career. You want to focus on consistency. You want to focus on trying to build a good strategy that works well with your psychology. But now if you have 5 or 6 years of trading experience, this is where you should definitely focus on how you can hold your winners longer, because your position size is only going to be as good as how well you execute, how well your trading strategy works. And if it's a choppy market and you're not very well experienced, you're going to end up being on the losing end. But if you have the experience, even with a somewhat of a smaller position size, you can yield very high returns as long as you're letting your winners continue to go in the direction that you're in, be it calls, be it puts, be it upside or downside. So when you're holding your trades longer, what does it actually mean, right? So if you're in a SPY calls and normally you see a 30% return, holding those winners long means that the last few contracts where you're closing your trades out, you actually just increase your stop and you just let the trade keep going. So if it's 500, you increase your stop to 499. When it goes to 503, you increase your stop to 501. When it goes to 505, you increase it to 503. Just like that, you keep increasing your stop and you hold the remaining position, which means taking a 30% return on your normal trade, it can eventually yield you anywhere between 80 to 100% return if you just hold your runners as it's going in your favor. And when you translate that into futures, you hold ES or NQ. If it's a trending day, rather than closing your full position, you close half or 70% of your position and you just let the remaining position continue in that direction until you get stopped out. So if you focus on the other side of that, which is going to be your position size, if you're usually trading a $500 position or a $1,000 position and you yield about 20% on that $1,000 position, that's roughly $200. And if you increase that position size to $2,000, now your return on that same trade is going to be $400, because now 20% of that is going to be $400. So same trades, just a different emotional experience. In my opinion, rather than increasing position size, I think a trader should focus more on how they can hold a winning trade as long as possible. And to fully understand that, you have to grasp the idea of, all right, what is a winning trade, right? Like, how do you know if it's a winning trade? So in my dictionary, a winning trade for me as an options trader is I go with at the money contract. I buy SPY calls at the money. Let's say SPY is trading at 499. I buy 500 strike call. That's considered to be at the money. When SPY starts to push higher, my mental goal for that trade to become a winning trade is going to be, as SPY crosses that 500, this is where I'm going to scale a little bit of profits off the table and I'll hold that particular strike because now it's in the money. Whenever in options you have your strike in the money, you can hold your trades longer because it's considered to be a safe zone. So as it goes from 500 to 501, now I'm $1 in the money. When it goes from 501 to 503, now I'm $3 in the money. That $3 is getting added on into my profit. So mentally, that gives me more of an ease that, all right, now I can hold a trade even if it goes against me, because it's in the money. The premiums are not going to lose a whole lot of value, as you'll see on a lot of other setups. I'll show you guys 2 examples of 2 trades and why I think holding trades longer is better than increasing your position size. But before I get into that, the few pros that you have of holding trades longer is that we usually can't judge how far a stock is going to go. Before market opens, it's very tough for us to decide, hey, SPY is opening up at 450. Is it going to go to 450 or is it going to go to 430? So it's very tough to set that exact price target. But when you go with the flow, as the stock is going in that direction and you're already in the trade, adding on your mental ease that, all right, the strike's in the money, I'm not really worried about losing the premium value, it becomes much easier to hold your trades. On top of that, you'll be focused more on that particular setup because you're watching price move higher if it's calls down if it's puts, and you're just managing that trade by paying attention to the volume, paying attention to the buyers or sellers or the flow that's coming in to understand, hey, this is actually moving in that direction. Now I don't need to focus on taking another trade. So that's also going to cut out that over trading factor that a lot of traders have. It's going to be easier on your psychology, right? You're already in a trade that's working out, and that will pretty much give you a decent enough of a return where you won't have to focus on taking any other trades. Now, one of the cons that you will see in holding these trades longer, especially if you're just learning how to hold trades for a longer period of time, is going to be the math that we do in our head when the trade's going in your favor, right? So let's say the stock goes from being up 20% to 35%, and then your stop loss is at 28% or 30%. Sometimes people get fixated on, hey, I don't want to give that 5% back, because if it pulls back and hits my stop loss, I'm gonna go being up 35% to 30%. That's something you're gonna have to be okay with for the potential of, hey, it can go from 35 to even 65 or 75 or 85. You wanna have a trailing stop of between 5 to 7% and be okay with giving that profit back. Obviously, it's still profit, so you're still gonna walk away with 30% or 25% return, but there is a chance that you might give some of those profits back. So if you're seeing the premiums hit 35%, the chances of you closing that perfectly at 35 is not going to be that high, and you're going to have to accept that, especially if you want most of your trades to be on the winning side. So let me show you guys one of my trades that I've probably done a trade recap on, but if you take a look at this, and you'll see the position size is not that aggressive in terms of the way I trade. This is a trade I took back in August. My position size from August to, let's say, November, December has increased last year. So I went from trading 40, 45K position to almost 80K position. So I went double the position size in November and December, but the returns that you guys see here, which is an 88% net return on a $46,000 position, is not something that I see a lot happening in the last month or two, because market was very, very choppy. So increasing my position size would have increased my loss as well, because now let's say on an $80,000 position, 20% or even 10% is going to be anywhere between $8,000 to $16,000 of loss. If that trade goes against you a little bit more, for example, something like this, which is a 26% loss off that $80,000 position, your loss is going to be almost $20,000. So that loss becomes very, very aggressive, versus when you're focusing on a position size that's already working out for you, right? You just let that winning trade keep going in your direction, and you increase your stop, and the moment your stop gets triggered, you close the trade out, rather than trying to have a bigger position size. Because the con of having a bigger position size is most people, they only are able to capture this much of a move, and their total return on that trade is anywhere between 20 to maybe 30% if they're very lucky and the move is very aggressive. But it's more on the lower side. But if even after scaling out, you'll see that your return can be managed to have a close to 100%, 200%, depending on how aggressive the move is, how much it actually pushes, and where you enter. But your overall average return can increase by net a huge amount if you know how to manage your trade, right? And this is not something you're going to be able to do right away. This is something that's going to take practice. And if I had to give advice on how to do that, like let's say here, if you take somebody here who's closing their trades out completely at 20 to 30%, and this is the most of the move that they're catching, what I would recommend they do is start to increase that area. So where you're closing your full position for a 30% or 20% net return, close your position maybe 70% of it. So if you have 10 contracts, close 7 where you would normally close your full position, and then increase your stop. And then the next push down, this is where you take out your remaining 30%, right? So this will take your net 20 to 30% return into easily 45 to 55% return, right? Simply by where you're normally closing out your trades completely, you close only 70% of it, and then you leave the remaining position. As you get comfortable doing this, how do you get better at holding it longer? Expand that chart slightly more, where you're closing out your trades completely, making 20, 30%. You switch to closing out 70%, change it to 50%, where you're normally closing your remaining position out completely, leave it to 30%, maybe another 3 contracts, and close the remaining position of your 20% position towards the end. And that will boost you from 45, 50% to anywhere between 65 to 70%. You don't have to do anything with your position size. You can keep the same position size, but but you'll have a higher profit. And once you get comfortable with this, then you can start to increase your position size. So this technique is not something that will work right out the door for everyone the same exact way. Meaning if somebody's already scaling out 80% and I tell them, hey, I scale out 20%, for you now to implement that into your own trading is not going to work out right away because you're mentally not used to that. You're mentally used to closing your majority of your position very aggressively and you're holding a smaller position. Now, when you're trying to switch that where you're scaling out small position and holding a very large aggressive position, mentally you're not going to be able to know how to handle that trade. So in order to do this the proper way, you have to change that slowly. So wherever you're closing your trades out 100%, close out 70% and then let your remaining position go until your stops hit. This way you're still locking in some profits and you're letting those trades show you the potential that it has. So this was one of the videos that I got asked about a lot, and I wanted to show the pros and the cons because there's no definitive answer as to if you should be focusing on increasing your position size or holding your winners long. I think this goes with experience. Go over your data, you go over your TradeZilla charts and look at, all right, these are the mistakes that I'm doing. Majority of my trades, if they look something like this and you're looking at this is your entry and your exit is right away, but you see that majority of the trades are continuing in that direction, rather than focusing on increasing this position size, all you have to do is focus on how do I avoid closing the trade here and let it run down to maybe the next leg down. And once you get used to that, let it run down more on the upcoming trades. And this will have a huge impact on how you end your 2026. If this video was helpful, guys, comment